Belinda, I don't know where you would start. That was an absolute journey for all of us, let alone for you on the court. Over 2.5 hours, punishing conditions, but you got the win. How does that feel?
Feels amazing. Feels like 170 kilo fell off my shoulders. I was so stressed. I really wanted to do well, and I don't know, today I felt so much pressure to not let my team down. And yeah, let's go.
Belinda Bencic just pulled off something almost no one noticed in real time. 8 matches in a single week, and she won every one of them. Not 7, 8. While the spotlight stayed fixed on whether Iga Swiatek or Coco Gauff would dominate the United Cup, Bencic quietly went undefeated in both singles and mixed doubles, dragging Switzerland all the way into the final. The WTA didn't see this coming, and honestly, neither did anyone else. So what are we really witnessing here? Is Belinda Bencic about to remind the tennis world that comebacks aren't reserved for the big three, or is this just one scorching hot week that won't carry over to the majors?
Just the excitement of those last couple of games in particular, but we were blown away. 5-6, 30-all, you changed the racket, you then didn't lose another point. That kind of decision making in the moment, you have to be so proud of to realize what you needed in that tough scoreline.
Yeah, I guess finally my brain just turned off and let my instincts take over, and I think it was just a feeling, and I just played with the back against my wall. I was just really focused on myself, on breathing, and I'm super happy I stayed tough in the most important moments. But the bench, they helped me so much. Stan was helping me so much on the bench as my coach and as my husband, everyone, so I really couldn't do it today without them. I really needed the push.
Let's be crystal clear right from the start. Belinda Bencic won 8 matches in 1 week. 4 singles. 4 mixed doubles. 0 losses. That's not just impressive, it's borderline absurd. Most players would be limping toward the finish line after a schedule like that. Bencic, on the other hand, is heading into a United Cup final against either the United States or Poland, looking fresh, focused, and completely unfazed. And the wildest part? Almost nobody saw this coming.
Because he came down, Martin, early on in the third, and it was like you knew what you needed in that moment. Stan was trying to put the ice towel on you. It was a real team effort today.
Yeah, it definitely was. I at times felt so overwhelmed because you feel like your bench is supporting you so much. I felt so responsible. But yeah, Martin, he knows exactly what I need, and we just have this connection, and I think that brought me over the line in the end.
Heading into the United Cup, the narrative was already written, or so everyone thought. Iga Swiatek leading Poland. Coco Gauff carrying Team USA. The assumption was that the final would be a blockbuster clash between top 5 stars, with everyone else playing a supporting role. Switzerland wasn't supposed to be here. Belinda Bencic wasn't supposed to be the story. Yet here we are, and she's the only player in the entire tournament who hasn't lost a single match. That's not luck. That's dominance wrapped in a storyline nobody bothered to imagine.
Congratulations. I'm sure the crowd wants to give you another round of applause for that incredible effort out here.
Thanks so much. Thanks. Sorry, just want to thank the crowd. Thanks so much. It's been amazing in Perth, but also now to play in Sydney. It's kind of weird to play the same tournament in 2 places, but very special. So we're really happy we're here now, and let's go now to support Stan. Thank you.
The semi-final against Belgium was supposed to be routine. Belinda Bencic took care of business first, beating Elise Mertens in singles to give Switzerland a 1-0 lead. Then everything flipped. Stan Wawrinka, playing what's expected to be his final season before retirement, fell to Zizou Bergs in a 3-set battle. Just like that, the tie was level, and it all came down to mixed doubles. That's when the pressure really hit. And that's when Bencic delivered again. She teamed up with Jacob Paul, a player who had won exactly 6 tour-level doubles matches last year. Together, they dismantled the Mertensbergs, pairing 6-3, 6-1, 6-0. No drama. No chaos. Just ruthless efficiency. For Jacob Paul, this was a career-defining moment. A year ago, he was barely a footnote in the doubles rankings. Now he's ripping down-the-line winners at the biggest moments of a United Cup semifinal. Bencic watched from across the net and summed it up perfectly. So brave, it's unbelievable. That's not a compliment you give to someone playing it safe. That's what you say when your partner is taking risks that shouldn't work but somehow keep landing. And according to Bencic, she told him to keep going for it, and he did. And it actually worked, which is rare enough to be worth mentioning. But let's talk about that singles match against Elise Mertens, because it was far closer than anyone expected. Bencic had cruised through her first 3 United Cup matches, winning all 6 sets and looking completely untouchable. Then Mertens showed up and dragged her into deep water. Bencic took the first set 6-3. Mertens answered back, 6-4. Suddenly, it was a third-set fight that could have gone either way. Mertens clawed back from 3-1 down, saved 2 break points that would have handed Bencic a commanding 4-1 lead, and even came within 2 points of taking the match with Bencic serving at 3-3, down 5-6. That's the kind of moment where pressure either crushes you or reveals exactly what you're made of. Bencic responded by winning the final 9 points of the match. Not 7. Not 8. 9 straight. And she did it after making a spontaneous decision to switch to a freshly strung racket. Her explanation afterward was almost surreal. My brain turned off and I just let my instincts take over. That's either the most honest thing an athlete has ever said or the most terrifying. The match lasted 2 hours and 37 minutes in brutal 43 degrees Celsius heat, that's 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Organizers even started play 30 minutes early, knowing how extreme the conditions would be. Bencic powered through it all, secured the win, and then had to turn right around and prepare for mixed doubles. No rest. No recovery. Just straight back on court with Switzerland's fate on the line. And somehow, she won that too. Bencic said, "It felt like 170 kilos fell off my shoulders." She admitted she was stressed, genuinely stressed, and felt enormous pressure not to let her team down. That kind of honesty is refreshing. Most players in that moment would hide behind cliches about staying focused or trusting the process. Bencic didn't. She simply said she was under pressure and desperately wanted to do well. And honestly, that makes the win more impressive, not less. She wasn't pretending to be calm. She was feeling the weight of it and still found a way to rip off 9 straight points when it mattered most. Now, let's talk about what this means for the final. Switzerland will face either the United States or Poland. If it's the US, that means Coco Gauff. If it's Poland, that means Iga Swiatek. Either way, Bencic walks into a matchup against a top-tier player who's fresher, younger, and almost certainly expected to win. But here's the thing, Bencic has already played 8 matches this week. She's already proven she can survive pressure, extreme heat, and razor-thin margins. She's beaten everyone put in front of her so far. So why should the final be any different? The narrative around Bencic has always been complicated. She won Olympic gold in 2021. She's climbed as high as world number 4. But injuries and inconsistency have kept her from locking down a permanent spot inside the top 10. People respect her game, but she's never quite been treated as a fixture at the very top of the sport. She's never quite reached that level where she's considered a threat at every major. This United Cup run doesn't rewrite her career overnight, but it does serve as a powerful reminder on her best days. Belinda Bencic can beat anyone. And right now, she's stacking a lot of best days in a row. What's fascinating is how little attention this run received for so long. The tennis world was locked in on Iga Swiatek and Coco Gauff, and Bencic's undefeated march barely registered. Even after her 7th win of the week, the conversation was still centered on who would emerge from the other semi-final. It wasn't until Switzerland closed out Belgium in mixed doubles that people finally looked up. By then, it was already too late. Bencic was in the final. Stan Wawrinka's loss to Zizou Bergs adds another layer to the story. This is Wawrinka's final season, his last United Cup, and his final opportunity to help Switzerland win a team event. He gave everything he had, but it wasn't enough. Bergs played fearlessly, broke Wawrinka at 4-3 in the 3rd set, and closed it out 6-3. That's not criticism, it's just the reality of where Wawrinka is in his career. And that meant everything fell on Bencic and Jacob Paul in mixed doubles. And once again, they delivered. In some ways, Bencic's perfect mixed doubles record this week is even more impressive than her singles run. Mixed doubles is chaos. You're relying on a partner you don't regularly practice with, making split-second decisions under pressure, adjusting on the fly regularly. Communication has to be instant. Strategy has to adjust on the fly. And Bencic has navigated all of it without dropping a single match. That's not just skill, that's adaptability. That's leadership. That's knowing when to trust your partner and when to carry the load yourself. Jacob Paul deserves real credit here too. This is a player who was barely on the radar a week ago. Now he's turning into a cult hero in Switzerland. Bencic's comments about him being brave and actually going for his shots say everything. He's not playing conservatively. He's taking risks, and those risks are paying off because Bencic is creating the space and opportunities for him to succeed. That's intelligent doubles tennis, and it's working at the highest level. The conditions in Sydney have been brutal. 43 degrees Celsius is legitimately dangerous. Players have struggled with the heat all week. Matches have been delayed. Some have been rescheduled just to avoid the worst of it. And through all of that, Bencic has played without complaint. She hasn't used the heat as an excuse. She hasn't talked about fatigue. She's just kept winning. That kind of mental toughness is rare, and it's exactly what team events demand, where a single loss can end everything. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people still don't believe Bencic is going to win the final if she faces Coco Gauff. The assumption is that Gauff's speed and power will be too much. If she faces Iga Swiatek, the expectation is that Swiatek's consistency and relentless shot-making will overwhelm her. But those assumptions ignore what Bencic has already done this week. She's beaten everyone in front of her. She's won in straight sets and survived 3-set battles. She's delivered under pressure in both singles and doubles. Why wouldn't that continue? The obvious answer is fatigue. 8 matches in 1 week is a massive workload. Even if Bencic feels fine right now, that kind of volume eventually shows up. Muscles tighten, reactions slow, mental sharpness fades. Gauff or Swiatek will arrive fresher, with fewer matches in their legs. That's a real advantage. But it's also an advantage Bencic has already overcome multiple times during this tournament. She's been the underdog in several of these matchups and won every one of them. Asking her to do it one more time doesn't feel impossible. What makes this United Cup run so compelling is when it's happening. This isn't a throwaway tournament in October. This is January. This is the first major team event of the season, and Bencic is setting the tone. She's sending a message that she's back, she's healthy, and she's ready to compete at the highest level again. Whether that momentum carries into Grand Slam success remains to be seen. But for now, she's doing everything right. And the WTA should be paying attention, not because Bencic is suddenly about to dominate the tour, but because her run is a reminder that depth matters. The spotlight may stay fixed on the top 5, but tournaments like the United Cup prove there are dangerous players just outside that group. Belinda Bencic is one of them, and right now, she's impossible to ignore. When she's healthy and confident, Belinda Bencic is a problem for anyone. The final is going to be fascinating no matter who Switzerland faces. If it's Coco Gauff, we get the young American star defending her team's title against a Swiss player who's been flawless all week. If it's the world number 2, Iga Swiatek, we see a player expected to justify her ranking against someone who's already beaten 4 opponents without dropping a match. Either way, Bencic has already won in one sense. She's exceeded expectations. She's forced her way back into the conversation. She's reminded everyone that she belongs at this level. But here's the thing, Bencic doesn't just want to belong. She wants to win. And based on everything she's said and done this week, she genuinely believes she can. That confidence isn't arrogance. It's earned. She's put in the work. She's handled the pressure. She's delivered in every situation she's been asked to face. One more match isn't going to scare her. The mixed doubles dynamic could once again be decisive. If Switzerland needs Bencic and Jakob Paul to come through again, they've already proven they can do it. But asking them to deliver twice in one weekend against elite competition is a huge challenge. Paul has been excellent, but he's also been riding the momentum of a breakout run. The question is whether that continues in a championship setting, or whether the pressure exposes the gaps in his game. Bencic can only do so much at some point. Paul has to hold his own. What's undeniable is this: Switzerland wasn't supposed to be here. Bencic wasn't supposed to be perfect. Jakob Paul wasn't supposed to be a hero. And yet, here they are, one match away from a United Cup title almost nobody predicted. That's the beauty of team events. They create chaos. They reward depth. They punish complacency. And they give players like Belinda Bencic a chance to remind the world exactly who they are. She's shining while everyone else was looking the other way. The WTA is stunned because this wasn't part of the plan. The storylines were supposed to revolve around Iga Swiatek and Coco Gauff. The final was supposed to be a clash between powerhouse nations. Switzerland was meant to be a feel-good story that bowed out in the semifinals. Instead, Belinda Bencic rewrote the script. She's won 8 matches. She's beaten the heat. She's carried her team. And she's done it all while making it look almost effortless. Now there's just one match left. One opponent. One final chance to prove that this week wasn't a fluke. And based on everything we've seen so far, betting against her feels foolish. She's been perfect up to this point, why should that suddenly change? Belinda Bencic just went 8-for-8 at the United Cup, and almost nobody saw it coming. Now she's one win away from a title everyone assumed would belong to Iga Swiatek or Coco Gauff. And if you think this story is wild, wait until you see how the final plays out. Smash that like button, subscribe, and don't miss how this